Right, two stories left then to wrap us up. Some random European stuff first. We mentioned the Sané to Galatasaray story last show, and it's a wild one. Mainly because we had brought Sané up several times, and it looked as if Bayern were trying to do everything they could to keep him around, which I think we were even kind of surprised by, but it did seem to be that was the direction of travel, and then there's this pivot. We've got some details. I think you've got some details about the money he's going to be on at Galatasaray. And now we've got also some stuff here about Gyökeres too. I'm not sure if we've mentioned the full details of this aspect of it before. And in a minute, then we'll finish with the last references to Saudi and what might be happening given the window's open again.
Yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll even loop back to the Liverpool stuff just to reiterate how crazy it's been tonight. But for this one, Sané, do you remember the Turkish call them the Başkans, the president, as I told you last week, Trev? The Başkans have come up with the big dollars, and Leroy Sané around 40 million euros, 140 million euros a year at Galatasaray. They want to go big this summer and to tempt Victor Osimhen, who we will mention again. Gyökeres, yeah, I mean, he's raging, isn't he, about this whole Sporting thing and what he thinks he should be sold for and what a quote-unquote gentleman's agreement is. As he said, I will talk when the time is right. Probably Sporting see that as the time when someone puts the money down on the table they're looking for, and maybe not before. We'll have to see. And then, as we mentioned, PSG Zabiani. And the only thing just to say on that is there are still links, and we'll finish with these very shortly. Marquinhos and Saudi links are still there as well. So that could be a potential one in, one out there. And you mentioned Saudi. I might as well throw it into the mix. I mean, I didn't think we mentioned Saudi and Ange, Trev, in all honesty, but an Ornstein bomb there. Al Ali have made contact with him about potentially becoming their manager. So that's crazy. Do you remember Juan Duran, that player for Aston Villa, the Colombian who went, big money in January instead of Nunes? There's various reports that Turkish clubs and others are being invited to make loan offers for him, that he's not happy there. It's all going a bit wrong. And don't want to be too harsh on the lad, but there's been questions about his mentality, haven't there? Behavior, maturity, that type of thing. So you do wonder around that. But that would open up a spot for Al Nassr, wouldn't it? And by the way, Al Nassr, if you're looking for a few players, we've got some attractive South Americans on sale in case you were looking as well. So just keep that in the mix. And then the final one, I kind of respect Al Hilal on this in a way, just because there's taking no for an answer, then there's brute force stubbornness. So when Victor Osimhen turned you down 5 times, what do? You get ready to make a 6th offer to Victor Osimhen, as came out today, Trev, that they are prepared to pay him around 1 million euros a week to make this move. A 6th offer. Now, he's got options, as we said, and across Europe, but 6 offers, £1 million a week. I just wonder what they'll go to before they finally take no. But yeah, Saudis, obviously they missed their Club World Cup window, but yeah, they are not done by any means.
I had a little bet with myself as to who would be first to make a Duran joke, and it is in fact Damo in the chat. Fair play to you, Damo. We have had quite a lot of information crammed into our just coming up on 59 minutes. There's probably somewhere you want to go just at the end to underline the what we've talked about, maybe something new, maybe a different twist on it, or maybe just to reiterate the fact that news did come through about Jota from a solid source, and it definitely does get things moving, whether it's the kind of fantasy move we were thinking about, or whether it's just freeing up funds for Liverpool to go for this striker or attacker. It's all, I think, quite positive stuff.
Yeah, we said quite early on in the show that all the info we're getting, despite what everyone says and what we were thinking as well, it seems like madness. Liverpool's top target is still Alexander Isak of Newcastle for the striker role, who we get it. It seemed fanciful, as we said, with the Champions League, where they are now and everything like that. However, it was being reported by various places still, as we mentioned. Ian Doyle mentioned the interest today for the Echo. Alex Crook mentioned it from TalkSport, so that was there as well. And then whilst we were on the show, as I kind of interrupted our normal viewing and sent the screenshot to Trev, just for obviously verification, if you want to call it that, the latest that we have, our own bomber, if you want to call it that, for this show. We'll see if this bears fruit. Newcastle are interested in Diogo Jota. I bet you can guess how we all would want to see these deals, plural, panning out, shall we say. So we'll wait to see what develops. But yeah, Diogo Jota, liked by Newcastle, Liverpool's top striking target. You know who his name is. We're all manifested now.
Just do the sums, you know, or make the Darwin and Robbo for Alvarez thing work. I'm okay with either.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. Lots of delicious possibilities on the table. Let's put it that way. We thank all of you guys for getting involved in the comments. All our live viewers, up to, that's a good amount for an early evening show. So we appreciate you and your eyes and your ears. And yeah, fair play, Jay. I saw your comment there about Billy Bones. No chance, mate. No chance. We will wrap it up at that. Thanks to Dave for all the info presented as brilliantly as always. And you know we're going to be back with you very, very soon.